This episode is brought to you by Walmart. New beauty is in bloom at Walmart, and it's all about springtime radiance. From Drybar, Tula Skincare, and hundreds more available online, Walmart has the premium brands you want and this season's on-trend products for flawless, glossy hair and hydrated skin. Big name beauty brands? Check. The things you love? Check. Find trending spring beauty and all you need to look and feel gorgeous at Walmart, on app and online.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
I wouldn't move, so he shoved me. And he pushed me again, this time into the couch. And he took his arm and put it on my neck like this, like trying to choke me without using his hands.
This is the plaintiff, Jerry Pittman Jr. He says he and the defendant have an on-again, off-again relationship for the past 20 years. And in 2014, she gave him a dog she couldn't care for anymore. 2 years later, she wanted the dog back, attacked him in a stairwell, then lied to the police, telling them he attacked her. He got arrested. She stole the dog from him, and he had to pay a lot of money to clear things up with the court and prove his innocence. He's suing for $1,500. The amount he's now owed. This is the defendant, Catherine Highway Rashidi. She says the plaintiff stole her beloved dog Prince and took off after they split up. And when she tried to get him back, he attacked her and flung her into a china cabinet, smashing everything. He then started choking her and threw her into a bathroom. The money the plaintiff is suing for is bail after his arrest. He deserved to be thrown into jail, and she owes him absolutely nothing. She's accused of filing a false police report. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for pain and suffering and stress and aggravation.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Pittman, how do you and Ms. Rashidi know each other?
We were in a relationship for a while. Or at least
how long?
About 4 or 5 years or longer.
Okay, well, in here you say on and off for 15 or 20 in your complaint.
Yeah.
Is it 4 or 5 or 15 or 20?
15 or 20. And
is 4 or 5 the most on?
Most on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, so what happens here?
Well, she had given me a dog, Prince.
When did she give you the dog?
2015, somewhere around there.
And why did she give you the dog?
Because she could no longer take care of it.
And why couldn't she take care of it?
Financially, and her health wouldn't allow it.
What was wrong with her health that wouldn't allow it?
She's been suffering with diabetes, mental illness, and different.
Diabetes and mental illness. All right, and what happens?
Oh, I had become attached to the dog, and I had been taking care of him anyway. And she decided after that she wanted to take the dog back.
When did she decide that?
I guess of...
What month and year did you decide that, ma'am?
Oh, I didn't decide that. I never gave him the dog.
Okay. He had the dog since 2015, right?
No.
Okay. How long a period of time did he have the dog?
He never had the dog.
Okay, that's not true, because in your answer to the complaint, you tell me how you had to get the dog back. He had the dog for some time.
He stole the dog.
Okay, how long did he have the dog stolen for? How long was that stolen time?
He stole the dog in 2018.
For how long?
For 6 months.
And then after 6 months, what happened?
I was able to get the dog back when he got
How were you able to get the dog back?
He got arrested.
Okay, and that's the subject of this lawsuit because you want $1,500 back that you had to pay the bail bondsman to post the bail for what you say is a made-up case.
Exactly.
So now, let me hear from you first about what happened that night.
Well, I went by to cook dinner for her, and I got ready to leave, and she asked me could I leave the dog. And I refused to because I couldn't trust her, and she jumped in front of the door to block me from leaving. So I kind of pushed her to the side and ran out with the dog, and she chased me. And as I was going down the stairwell, I'm handicapped. I have a hip.
Are you running down the steps?
Yeah, with a bad,
okay.
two bad hips.
Okay, you're running down the step with 2 bad hips. That evens things out. All right, so then you get down there, you've got the dog, and she's right behind you, and what happens?
And I turned to try to stop her because she got pretty close.
And just going, that made her fall back?
Exactly.
Okay, according to you, it's a little different, right? Yes. Yeah, what do you say happened?
Well, the date was December 9th. I was coming home from church late that day because that day I had taken a friend to church. He's totally blind, so I had to take him to what's called the BART system. I don't know if you know that.
Okay, so just to be clear, you're doing services for the blind and you go to church. I got that, yes. But now talk to me about the dinner. Because the dinner was orchestrated, right? Like, in other words, what I read in the answer to the complaint was he wouldn't give me my dog back, so I figured I'd have to be a bit more creative about getting my dog back. So I started inviting the plaintiff over for dinner in the summer of 2018. We started talking and having dinner, and he would bring my dog with him when he came. One night at the end of August, I told him he wasn't leaving with my dog. Let's take it from there.
Oh, so you want to go back to August? Okay. I had invited him over for dinner, and I had been inviting him, I guess, since the beginning, but I didn't make a move to take the dog until like the end of August. And so I told him that time that he was not taking Prince. And I stood in front of the door, and I wouldn't move, so he shoved me. And he pushed me again, this time into the couch, and he took his arm and put it on my neck like this, like trying to choke me without using his hands. So that was uncomfortable. So then he stopped, and he picked up the dog, and he starts again, and he was gone.
All right, now let's talk about the December incident. Let me hear from you first. What happened in December? Did you see her between August and December?
Yeah, the same thing happened.
What were you doing? Like having dinner anyway? Like nothing? Like everybody acts like nothing? Like August didn't happen?
Well, she kind of reconciled those differences. She still has feelings for me, and she wanted to see the dog.
Well, do you have feelings for her?
In a sense, yes, I care about her, but
okay, so,
her and the dog, both. You know.
Okay, so what happens in December?
The same thing.
You go over, you've got the dog, she doesn't want you to take the dog, and then what?
Well, she chases me, and I make it to my car, and I get away, and then next thing I know, the police come to my house 2 days later.
Who has the dog at that point?
I did. Okay,
the police come to your house, and what happens?
She came with the officers and said there was a citizen's arrest. She made them arrest.
Okay, if there's an officer arrest.
Yeah, well, I guess a citizen standby arrest. I don't know.
Okay, so she comes to the officer and what? How did she get the dog?
The police came and took it.
That night in December?
No, March 8th.
Hold on. So in December, she gets you arrested because she presses charges against you for violence.
Right.
You pay $1,500 to a bondsman to post, I guess, a $15,000 bond.
Exactly.
And that's your premium, and you lose it. You don't get any of that.
Right.
And what happened with that case?
He said at the present time, there's no charges being filed.
Okay, so according to you, no charges got filed. Okay, ma'am, do you have any information otherwise? Did he end up getting charged with the December incident?
I spoke to an Officer Chang who's in charge of the investigation. He told me that he completed his investigation and it went to the DA. The DA is going to...
What on earth could he have been doing for the last 4 months? Completing the investigation is asking you what happened and you telling him what happened. There's nothing else to investigate.
Yes, unless you live in Oakland. Oakland has a corrupt police department, and either they're discriminating against me because I have a mental disability or because they perceive me to be black, or both. So they just have dragged their heels.
How did you get the dog back? That same racist police?
Well, actually, I got lucky because I asked for a supervisor. So they called one, and his last name was Rodriguez. He was Latino. I was very happy to see him. And he was very kind. He looked at all the paperwork, and then he called the number for the dog's chip and verified that the dog was chipped to me, and told his officers to go get the dog and give him to me.
Okay, and this is when, and he's in custody in December.
He was in the car. He was in the
Was this in December that all this happened, or was this in
December
March?
11th.
You think all this happened in December.
Yeah.
You seem to think all this happened in March.
It happened March 8th, my mother's anniversary, the death of her anniversary, 1 year.
Does anyone have any paperwork to prove when it happened so I could see whose recollection is more accurate?
Actually, it happened twice, in December and then again in March.
But if you already have the dog, how does it happen again in March?
Because I left the state to get away from him, my sister, and Oakland Police Department. I now live in New Mexico.
Ma'am, how couldn't you take your dog twice? What happened in that meantime? Did you give the dog back to him?
I gave the dog back to him, and I told him he needed to sign a document stating that he would return the dog when I got back from New Mexico after I found a place. Well, he had the dog, and he said he was going to come sign the document that morning before I left.
So, no, you didn't have him come sign the document before he got the dog?
No, he said he had diarrhea, and he never showed up.
Oh, the diarrhea is irrelevant. You gave him the dog without getting his signature.
That was my bad.
So you've involved the police in retrieving the dog, and you gave the dog back to him.
I felt like I didn't have a choice because if I didn't get away from California...
Well, how afraid are you of him?
Well,
and how afraid are you of the Oakland police when you got them to get involved? They did. They got the dog back for you, and you gave the dog back to him.
Yes.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Is it appealing or not to have a relationship for 20 years where you go back and forth and it never quite cements?
It's not healthy.
Why?
Because if it doesn't work for the first 3 years, she should just cut it off.
But, well, you say she should cut it off. It's always the guy's fault?
Both sides.
Ha.
Hi, there's always a comfort level of, being familiar with somebody.
See, that's the point. Okay, so now who's the tiebreaker here?
I think it's good that they keep coming back together. They just keep trying.
Wow, I thought it was going to go the other way. Interesting, going inside the courtroom.
So now in March, you want the dog back again, and what did the police tell you?
Right, I wanted the dog back because I was back. I had a place that I found in New Mexico.
Those are you problems. Those are not anyone else problems. All right.
But
so I found the dog. I want the dog back because free care is no longer necessary for me. So then you go back there and the police take the dog a second time?
I asked for a supervising sergeant.
Oh, did you ask for the same Officer Rodriguez?
I asked, was he on? I said, actually,
or did you just ask for any Hispanic?
No, I actually asked for a woman or a officer of color. And they said,
I don't know that you get to say that. I don't think you say, listen, I don't like the color of your skin. Give me a different person. I mean,
Yeah, well, that was my preference, so I asked.
I prefer tall 7-foot Swedes with blue eyes and, that's in uniform. That's what I'd like to see. I mean, now, you are telling me, okay, and I want $5,000 for pain, suffering, stress, and aggravation.
I was going to say I'm not really even talking about March 8th. I'm really talking
whatever
about
dates you're talking about.
December 9th, because that's when I experienced the most pain.
Do you have any pictures to show me your injuries?
I do have pictures.
Do they show your injuries?
They show, well, these pictures are from March 8th. The only thing I have from December 9th, first I went to Highland Hospital.
Okay, let me see your hospital records from December 9th.
I'm looking for those now. Let's see. I can't seem to find that record from Kaiser, but I ended up in a boot from Jerry.
Okay, you have been in a boot since the December attack, according to you. Show me proof of that. Give me medical records in December. Because you don't act like someone who has been assaulted when you then give him the dog and have him for dinner again after that. But show me your medical records from December then. That's what you can't find. While she's looking, let me just explain a few things to you, Mr. Pittman. You have a case of false arrest. You got to prove false arrest. If you can't prove false arrest, you do not win.
I understand.
Right, and you've come to court basically with your word against hers. I would need to see something to show that it got dropped, that someone found her to be lying. And sometimes things are dropped, for a reason other than the veracity of the person. So on your claim against her, 0. And now on her claim against you for pain, suffering, stress, and aggravation, I ask you for the last time because I'm not going to give you any more. I've given you the whole trial to find the evidence I'm talking about. Did you find any medical evidence? Yes or no?
I haven't found it yet, but can I
no, we're done. That's your yet is over. On your claim for pain and suffering, 0. On your claim against her for $1,500 for a refund of the bail due to false arrest, I find that you have been unable to prove to me that the arrest was false. It's still pending. It's your word against hers. So, and the burden is on you to be able to prove that. So I am ruling in her favor on that. Good luck to you, folks.
Thank you.
Well, the end of the case, neither one of you can prove your case.
No, we can't.
So you lose your case, she loses her case against you. Are you still in contact with her?
She calls occasionally, and I respond because of the dog.
Where is the dog right now?
I believe her son has it.
Her son has it?
Yeah.
But you got attached to the dog?
Yes, I did.
Will you still be seeing her and having contact with her, do you think?
Well,
that's it.
She's a friend of the family, and I'm probably will be talking to her.
I think so?
Yeah.
Even after this court case?
Even after this court case.
My goodness. Okay. Well, good luck to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Rashidi. You're Speedy Gonzalez in your boot, you know. Listen, I'm sorry you didn't win your case. You had so many papers with you. You just couldn't find what you needed.
Yeah, I guess I left that one at home, unfortunately.
No, a lot of them you needed. Okay. Where is the dog now? Your son have the dog?
Yes.
You see the dog a lot? What kind of dog is
He's my
it?
dog, so
what kind
yeah.
Of dog? What kind
He's
of dog?
a Pomeranian Papillon mix.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Sorry you couldn't win your lawsuit.
All right, thank you.
And that'll do it, Harvey.
Doug, real simply, false arrest requires complete malicious intent, and that isn't the case here, even though she dropped the claim. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Good night, itchy eyes. Good night, sudden sneeze. Good night to your symptoms of allergies. Xyzal is the allergy medicine you take before bed. It provides powerful relief while you rest your head. Not just all night, but all the next day. Xyzal keeps working, keeping allergies at bay. And without those annoying symptoms disturbing your rest, you can wake up the next morning feeling your absolute best. Remember, be wise all. Take Xyzal. At night.
This is the plaintiff, Azra Hicks. She says she purchased a car from the defendant, and a month later, when she came out of work, the license plates were missing off the car. She called the cops. They called the defendant, and he told them he took the plates because she lied to them about having a job. She showed the defendant her pay stubs. He had no right doing what he did, and she's suing for the return of the $2,723 she's now owed. This is the defendant, Ryan Bogos. He says he called the plaintiff on multiple occasions, and she promised to show him her pay stubs, but never did. He told her if she didn't prove employment, her deposit would be forfeited, and she would lose the car, which is exactly what happened. This is an open and shut case. The plaintiff is a liar, and he owes her nothing but a curt good riddance. He's accused of a license plate theft.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff bought a car from the defendant and says that he took the plates off the car a month later out of revenge. But the defendant says she lied about her pay stubs and forfeited the money. It's the case of you lied about your stubs, bub.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Hicks, you bought yourself a car over at East Coast Auto, correct?
Yes.
All right, and how much did you pay for the car?
I put $2,000 down.
You put $2,000 down, and do you have the paperwork from the sale?
Yes.
May I see it? What were you buying?
A 2010 Chevy Equinox.
So did you apply for financing for the rest?
Yes.
Okay, now before the financing got approved, you let her leave with the car?
No, we have a setup. It's called Dealer Center, and we go by her credit application she fills out. We input everything into the system, and that was that she worked for the security company, which we never got proof of. She said she was going to bring back the following day, Your Honor.
What was she going to bring back?
The pay stub.
So the answer is yes. You let the car roll without having the financing in place
because
yet.
you have
Why don't you just say yes to my question?
Yes,
because
ma'am.
what? Because you got a little signature on a piece of paper? Okay, so this is how you guys roll, which is unusual, I think.
Usually if it's during the week, I'll call and verify it with their employer, which Monday came, and I called her employer, and nobody was answering the phone, and finally I got a hold of her, and I said to her, she says, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
And do what?
She can bring me the pay stub, which she's never did, and I told her.
How did you prove your employment? What was going on with that?
Your Honor, I have pictures of email that I sent to them while I was at the dealership purchasing the vehicle that I did send over pay stubs right here.
Let me see. Okay, I can't see that it's even an email to them. I don't know what you're showing
R.
me.
Gelman, that's the person that signed the contract with me.
Okay, who's R. Gelman?
R. Gelman's a salesman.
At your place?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, she's sending him an earnings statement, U.S. Security Associates. Is that where you work?
Yes, we are.
What
now
is it?
A security company.
Okay, and is that the information she had told you?
U.S. Security. And
Yeah.
She works 40 hours.
Do you work 40 hours a week, which is what you said?
My hours vary.
That's not an answer. Yes or no, do you work 40
Yes.
hours a week? When you say they vary from 40 to what?
It all depends on the sites they send me to.
You either have a full-time job or you don't. It's one or
Yes,
the
I
other.
do.
Okay, so what is the least you've worked?
The least I worked is 33 hours.
All right, according to you, she filled out something that said that she worked full-time there. Let me see. 14 an hour, 40 hours a week. All right, so you call her and you tell her what? I'm going to take the tag off if I can't get proof.
I got to get proof.
Why don't you just do the regular old employment verification? You don't do that?
I did. I called them. Guess what? When I called them, number one, they don't answer their phone. Finally, when I got them on the phone, they told me she wasn't a full-time employee.
All right. So did you ask Richard, didn't you get my pay stub?
Yes, Richard.
And so did he have a problem? Hold on, listen to me. So did Richard say, the pay stub you gave me isn't good enough because it doesn't show 40 hours?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. And then he said, I need a letter from them that says you work full-time there?
Yes.
And did you get the letter?
No.
Why not? Because you don't work full-time there?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
My
Well,
office.
You already told me that you don't.
My
All right, so
office is actually moving.
that has nothing to do with what I'm asking.
I have a message from my manager. I asked her for a letter. She says she don't know if she can write the letter.
Okay,
because
well,
the
okay,
company
that's a
was
you
changing.
problem. That's not an anybody else problem. All right, so what happens one fine day, you go to work, and you see that the license plate has been removed from your car?
Yes. I went into work, I went to clock, and I was running late, and I went back out to grab my uniform jacket out the car.
Right.
And I noticed I didn't have a tag on my car.
So what happened? How'd you figure out, did you guys take the tag?
Yep.
So you see the license is missing, you call them, right? Or you talk to Richard or you talk to him? You
I
don't
called
know.
the police.
And then the police tell you what?
That I have to take it to the courthouse. They say it's a civil matter.
Okay, and then what happens? He tells you, I'm going to pick up the car. You're not giving us proof that you work 40 hours a week.
I do work 40 hours a week.
Well, then why didn't you just say to him, don't pick up the car? I see that you did text him and say, y'all can have y'all salvage vehicle. I already made a police report and went to the courthouse.
Yes.
I will see y'all in court for my money back. Why did you do that instead of just showing him that you worked 40
Because
hours?
I had no tags on the vehicle.
Well, I know. As soon as you see it's a chicken and an egg thing, as soon as you show him proof, a letter that states that you work 40 hours a week, then you would have the tag back. All right. So now let's discuss what ends up happening. You have a $2,000 deposit on the car. You didn't pay the $500 for car insurance from them, right?
Yes, they actually told me it was $500, but I got a letter in the mail stating that my car insurance wasn't even that much. My car insurance only was $346.
Is it a third party that insures her when you do that?
Your Honor.
It's not us that charged her. She went and set up the insurance on her own, and then
Did you
she
guys
used
listen to my
our card
question
to
and
pay
be
for
very
it.
careful before you answer.
Okay.
Did you guys collect money from her for insurance? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I
How
don't
much
have- I
money?
don't have the receipt
Show me
for
the
it.
proof of how much money you collected.
I don't have that, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, you say you paid $500. Can you show me proof that you paid $500?
I did not receive a receipt, Your Honor.
Did you pay in cash?
Yes. My best friend went with me to.
No,
Okay.
guys, no. That's not how we do things.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's not how we do things. Now let's get back to the car. When the car gets repossessed, there's this $2,000 deposit on the car. There's the insurance issue. There's $223 in car rental fees that you want them to pay. Now, Did you ask them for any money back, or did they say, we're not giving you your money back? How did that go?
Yes, I asked for my money back. He never responded.
Is this before or after he picked up the car?
This was before he picked up the car.
Your Honor, she's not telling the truth. After numerous times, she knew I was coming to get the car. She didn't bring it. I told her I was going to get the car.
Okay. You had said I had repeatedly been trying to reach out to her. I had asked her to surrender the car. All that stuff. Is there any written proof of that?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And then what happens? You then go out and pick up the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you pick it up...
She was there. She told me to come get the car, which you see in that text message.
That's the only thing I see.
And I sent the tow truck to get the vehicle. She came out. She got her stuff out of the vehicle. And then we said, can we have the key? No. If she would have gave us her documents and she had a 40-hour work week, Your Honor, we wouldn't be here right now.
Wait, so you said, can we have the key, and what happened?
She said no.
Why didn't you say key first and then she gets her stuff out?
You know, and I didn't think that she was
That would be a better
course of action. You're correct.
Right, but I wouldn't give the car without the financing either. All right, so let me ask you, did you refuse to give them the key?
Yes.
How come?
Because I asked for my money, and he told me no.
Okay, so, and what is your defense to returning none of the money? Like, how do you figure that you keep the entire deposit?
Number one, all deposits are non-refundable. Here, it says it right here. It's stated on the wall. Number two, if you don't...
On the wall? Show me where it's stated in the paperwork that she signed. Okay, so let's see that.
Here you go,
And
buddy.
then we talked about the state of New Jersey. What were you saying about the state of New Jersey?
State of New Jersey made me put that up on the wall to show people that when they come in, I have to have it at 5 different places in my office so people can't say that they know that their deposits are non-refundable.
Right, but so that you're not accused of having put this piece of paper up on the wall for my benefit, it's also really good to have it in the contract. You
Yes,
say, I'm
ma'am.
going to see it. Okay, so this is the clause that talks about conditional delivery, which is her receiving the car before everything is finalized. There's not a word of this about the deposit, you keeping the deposit, not one word. Do you want me to read it out loud, or you know what it says? Let's skip the charade. What it says is that she is going to have to return it, and if there's reasonable attorney's fees in getting it back to you, that she would have to pay those, et cetera, et cetera. None of that. None of this says, oh, and by the way, any deposit you gave us is forfeited. I mean, look, I think that you're entitled to your time and your effort.
The key, the
yeah,
tow.
Absolutely. Everything that you've had to do, and her keeping the key, I get it, okay? But do you have the key with you here today?
Yes.
Okay, hand it to my bailiff, please. I agree that that's not fair, because she lies on the application.
She's done this to other dealers.
What's that?
This is not the first time.
What is the document?
That is a voluntary surrender where she did a similar thing.
So did you have another car repossessed?
Your Honor, yes
or no?
I did.
Okay.
So if somebody puts a deposit down for something and it doesn't say refundable or non-refundable, which is it?
You should assume it's always non-refundable.
But is that assumption something that a judge, say, would enforce?
Yeah. I would say if it's not clearly stated or written, that you should make it a very direct inquiry, lest there be any confusion afterwards. That would clear up the whole matter before.
No, but they disagree. One side says it is and one side says it isn't. Which is it?
I guess you would say that it's non-refundable.
Because?
Just because it's a deposit, so once you put a deposit down...
You lose it.
Yeah, you're saying you're going to buy this.
Fair point. Okay, we're going inside the courtroom.
Okay, when you say done this to other dealers, I mean, I think you guys are in the business of selling cars. You're not dealing with the clientele that can buy a really expensive car with cash. That's not what you deal with. So don't be shocked if, you find that the reason they come to you and are willing to pay you what you're asking is because you will work with them. But what I'm concerned about is what the fair thing to do here is. They have gone through some trouble. Now, if he thinks that this little piece of paper is going to trump the document, the contract, he's wrong. But you've wasted everybody's time, and that's worth something. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I show you reviews of him doing this to other people?
Here we go. Yeah. No, because just like I don't care what he showed you, I'm going to assume you're right, too, and there's people complaining about him, too. Exactly. Y'all deserve each other. All right. So now what we have to figure out, I need you to explain to me. I know that it's hard to quantify the man hours or whatever, but I know a salesman wasted time with her. I know you processed the paperwork. What else? Is there anything I'm missing? No attorneys were involved, right?
No attorneys were involved.
Okay.
Repossession
The car was never switched into her name, so you didn't have to re-register it or anything.
State of New Jersey, you have to pay sales tax on the vehicle. The minute the vehicle is contracted, dealer,
then prove to me that you paid that and that you're not getting it back.
If you want, I'll give you my account.
No, I'm not going to know. I don't want to do the research for you. I want you, when you come to court, to fear me enough to be prepared and have done the research. So I need you to prove up your damages.
No, you're right.
So you go, you pick up the car. You're not out any money. What you are out is your efforts, correct?
No, I am out money. Repossession fee.
What's your repossession fee? You won yourself.
What are you crazy? It was action.
Did you just ask me, what are you crazy? Oh, that's gonna. Well, that's gonna cost him a few $100. Go ahead, keep going.
I don't go do repossessions, Your Honor.
Yeah.
I sent a repossession company to go get it. When I say
show me proof.
I can call her. You want me to call her on the phone?
Nope. I want proof that you paid something.
I didn't bring it.
Okay. All right. Look, this is not your first rodeo.
Not at all.
Okay. So you know probably how this was going to go is that I was going to entitle you to keep all of your damages. You have brought me nothing. You know what you're supposed to bring me because it's all listed in the conditional agreement. It says what you're supposed to bring me. If you have attorney's fees, repossession fees, whatever else, you've brought me zip. Okay? Zip. So the only thing I know you went through is the effort and trouble that we've talked about with your guys. So what I'm going to do on your car insurance, you can't prove that they overcharged you for it. On your future car rental fees when they repossess the car, you got to be kidding me. No. All right. So the thing at play is the $2,000. I'm going to allow you to keep $500 of the $2,000 and then order you to pay $1,500 to the plaintiff. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
So the plaintiff is going to get some of that deposit back, the majority of it, $1,500 worth. Mr. Bogos,
how you doing,
you're
sir?
Getting $500 back. Okay, that's for your time and effort. You okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm a little lost. I can't
I'm
believe
not the judge. Okay.
Yeah, I can't believe that they would give her $1.
Well, look, if you had the evidence, if you had receipts,
it's my fault.
You know you didn't bring evidence. As I said, the judge said
it's a shame because you know what? We try to help so many people at this dealership.
Yeah.
People like this ruin the chances of people with bad credit.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the way it goes in court. Sorry, you'll learn next time. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Bring some evidence. All right, Ms. Hicks, same thing for you. You got to bring evidence. Let me ask you, what do you think about all this? Tell me what's going on.
I honestly feel as though it was not as accurate as I thought it would be because I have more proof in here. And
you couldn't prove you did 40 hours.
Actually, one of the pay stubs she has.
No, she looked at it. You gave her. She gave
that pay stub she has is 40 hours.
But that's your problem. But you're going to get $1,500 back, okay? You do get some money back.
$2,000 back.
No, you didn't get that. Sorry.
Why didn't I?
Because he had time and effort, and he's getting money for that. All right? Chasing you down. There you go. Sorry, that's the way it goes in court. All right, thank you very much. All right, Harvey, what do you think?
Well, here's the deal, Doug. Generally, first of all, you should always say whether it's refundable or not. But if you don't say, there's a saying in the law abhors forfeitures. So there's a presumption, if it's silent, that the deposit is refundable. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast here to tell you about Michelob Ultra Courtside. It's getting fans closer to the NBA with a chance to win prizes like courtside seats, a trip to All-Star Weekend, and much more. Check it out at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access, Courtside 24-25 sweepstakes, no purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 and up. Begins on October 1st, 2024, ends July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/courtside for free entry deadlines, and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
This is the plaintiff, Michael Miller. He said he rented a house from the defendant, and when the house sold, he moved out in the required 30 days. The sneaky defendant refuses to return his security, claiming he broke his lease, which is ridiculous because the defendant sold the house. He's not going to just walk away from the $1,635 he's owed because that's a lot of money, and he's suing for it. This is the defendant, Kenny Harris. He says the plaintiff up and moved out of the house without submitting the written and required 30 days notice. Since he didn't follow the rules, the security isn't being returned, and he feels he has an ironclad case today. He's accused of holding on tight to a tenant's money.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff rented a house from the defendant, and when the defendant sold the house, the plaintiff got robbed of his security, he says, but the defendant says the plaintiff just up and left, so tough. It's the case of you ain't my homie.
Thank you, Douglas. Michael Miller and Brandy Miller, represented here by Michael Miller.
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing Kenny Harris and Lake Hamilton Realty Incorporated, represented here by Kenny Harris, for $1,635, comprising the security deposit you believe you're entitled to, plus unused rent, plus lost wages and having to come and sue for your security deposit back. Tell me what's going on.
Well, originally we had moved to Hot Springs in July of 2017, and we had a lease. So since I'm a teacher and had some possibilities of going back into coaching, I needed to be able to get out of the lease in the summer months in July.
Okay, and so there's 2 clauses for termination of the lease. One of them is the tenant reserves the right to give 30-day notice to vacate the home before this lease is expired if we can rent the home immediately. No smoking in the home. And then the other way that someone can terminate the lease is for the sale of the property. And this clause says, in the event the property is sold during the period of this residential lease, the tenant hereby agrees to vacate within 30 days notice by the owner. All right, so what happens?
So in June, my wife contacted Heather about...
Your wife?
Yes.
Contacted Heather. Who's Heather? Your Heather.
That was the actual agent, and said that we had found another place. We're looking to get out. And
listen to me. I've read the text. It's way better for you than that. Hand me the text, please. Do you have it in the phone? I like to see text in a phone. What happens is she starts communicating with you.
Yes.
And she says, hey, how are you? This starts on June 20th. Would it be possible if we could get out of our lease if we found something a little bigger? Was just wondering. I know we have like 5 months left. You say, let me ask them. They say, we absolutely love the house. We just want a little bit more room. If not, we will stay until our lease is up. We're just curious. You say, okay. I think they're going to try to sell or rent it since you are wanting to find something bigger. Sounds like an okay for them to get out of their lease. I mean, it sounds to the layperson like that. We're supposed to go look at a house Monday. I hope they're not upset because your wife is so nice. And she said, they aren't. I'll come by around 1 Tuesday if that'll work for you. Yes, ma'am. That'll be fine. Thank you for understanding. You're welcome. You guys have been so nice to us. Thank you. I don't know why I keep reading it in a southern accent. Where are you guys from? Arkansas. That must be it. Thank you. I hope we find something. How long do we have to be out? And you answer, they haven't said. You can stay for the remainder of your lease if you choose to do so. Just let me know when you find something. We will work out the time frame with you. Look, if what you meant to say then was you may lose your deposit, it depends on how fast we can rent it or something, that would be a really good time to say that rather than making it sound like you're giving them permission. Now, you ended up selling the house, right?
Yes, another agent.
Okay, so the house gets sold, and I take it the owner was happy about that because they wanted to sell the house.
Yes.
All right, and the closing date on that house is when?
It was August 18th, I think.
August 18th?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, but you're wanting to keep his deposit for August rent when you couldn't even give him August to live in for those 2 weeks?
There was nothing said that he had to move because the people were purchasing the home.
The new owner wanted to rent her.
No, I understand that. Okay. According to you, you think your lease gives you a right to do what?
Once they notified me of the sale, I had 30 days to move out according to the lease.
Okay. You guys feel that he's not entitled to it back because what? What did he fail to do according to you?
He did not give written notice terminating the lease.
So according to you, he can't call his 30-day because he didn't do it in writing. I know written notice is written notice to your address.
Right.
But now what about these texts that I've read out loud? Oh, you've all been said, thank you so much. Yes, that'll be fine and all that stuff. Because it's not like they said, hey, we're leaving. And you go, okay. I never call that acquiescence. Okay is an alternative to shooting someone in the head. Like, what are you supposed to do to show your objection to them leaving? I get that. But this is different. This is permission to leave from her. What do we do with that? Why are you looking at her? She's just a nice...
So if the landlord kind of says informally, yeah, of course you can move out early. Does that cancel out the lease saying that you have to give 30 days notice?
If the lease required written notice,
he says it.
Then the lease is the lease, and
is the lease the lease, or does what the landlord says control?
The lease is the lease, and the landlord can change his mind. It's only your word against his.
Well, if he agrees, he said it. That's the question. Going inside the courtroom.
You end up finding a place and letting them know that you found a place when?
Around June 26th.
Yes, we just got approved on the house they called you about. We really like that one too. You can advertise it today if you want. But I just had a call from the realtor that showed the other day, and she's sending me an offer. We may be able to work out a deal with someone to buy it. Oh, okay. It's a nice house. I knew it wouldn't take long for someone to buy or rent it. So now June 28th, Mike, that's you, is going to pay the rent. So it'll be paid for next month. Okay, thank you. On June 29th, you say, hey, they accepted the offer.
Yeah.
We were going to give 30-day notice, but as far as I know, this wasn't terminated by me. It was terminated by the owners when they sold it. So
I don't know. I almost think it was terminated by you, too. I mean, when you tell them in June, we got approved for the house.
But the house sold, so, you know, hey, everybody wins. It's all good, you know.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Do we have to pay August rent?
Yeah.
No. The owner said that you won't have to pay August rent, but the deposit will be forfeited because of early termination on the lease. Oh, okay, your wife says. I thought as long as someone was in before, it was time for us to pay rent again, and the house was like it was before, then we would get our deposit back. I know the lease was broken, but it worked out perfect for them. They were able to sell it. I'll talk to them about it. I'm ready to roll. Anything further?
No,
anything further from you? All right. You know, I think it's a tad close, but I don't feel any doubt about what I'm deciding. And I'm deciding that the security deposit goes back to him. I think that the tenor of the conversations between everybody is that, you know what, go ahead and look for another place because we're going to sell it, which implies that we don't need you here anymore if we're going to sell it, even if that turned out to not be the case. The language between the two parties was not put your notice in writing like the thing requires in order to kick off the 30 days. She asked before she even starts looking, am I going to be able to break the lease? It doesn't sound like, yeah, but there'll be penalties. It sounds like, yeah, no worries. So I'm not going to give them a worry. You don't get the portion of your unused rent just because you moved out early in July. You don't get lost wages. But you do get that $1,200 and your court costs in order to get those $1,200. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
So in a really interesting case, the plaintiff prevails. He's going to get his security back, $1,200 back. Did you agree this was kind of close?
Yes.
How do you feel about what the judge decided?
I think it's okay.
You're okay with it?
Yeah.
You were so nice. That may have hurt the case, you know?
Maybe so.
Maybe it shouldn't be so nice in the future. Okay. Good luck to you. Thank you very much.
You.
All righty. Mr. Miller, congratulations. Feel better?
Good, good.
Yeah, okay. You were worried, weren't you?
No.
Not at all?
Not really. I mean, I knew the evidence was on my side. We did what we were supposed to do. We held our part of the lease, and I just should have done the right thing and just gave it back to us.
Okay, good enough. You happy where you are now?
Absolutely.
Good enough. Good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're on your way. Harvey?
Here's the thing. The key to this is reliance, and the plaintiff relied on the defendant's word, so that's why the plaintiff won.